Welcome back, everyone, and what a time it is to be a Dallas Cowboys fan. After weeks of frustration, questions, and uncertainty about whether this team could ever find its rhythm on offense, it finally seems like the tide has turned. Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys' offensive coordinator, may have just pulled off something special, something fans have been begging for since the start of the season. Dak Prescott suddenly looks like a completely different quarterback, calm, confident, and unstoppable. The connection between Dak and the rest of the offense has come alive in a way we haven't seen since his MVP caliber stretch a few years back. And it all comes down to one thing: Schottenheimer's quiet but masterful reshaping of this Cowboys offense. From the very start of the season, the Cowboys looked like a team still searching for its offensive identity. There were flashes of brilliance followed by periods of head-scratching confusion. Fans saw the talent CeeDee Lamb, Brandin Cooks, Tony Pollard, Jake Ferguson, but something about the play calling just felt off. The rhythm wasn't there, the timing felt out of sync, and Dak seemed hesitant, as if he was constantly overthinking every throw. The result? Stalled drives, missed opportunities, and plenty of frustration. But lately, something has changed. Schottenheimer has gone back to basics while also incorporating a more aggressive and creative game plan that perfectly fits Dak's strengths. It started with tempo. The Cowboys began to speed things up, letting Dak operate in a no-huddle, quick-read offense that keeps defenses on their heels. Schottenheimer's shift away from the overly conservative approach we saw early in the season has made all the difference. Dak now has more freedom at the line of scrimmage, reading defenses and adjusting plays on the fly, something that makes him far more dangerous. Instead of waiting for routes to develop and risking sacks or turnovers, the offense is now built on rhythm, throws, motion, and misdirection. The result is that Dak's decision-making looks sharper, and his confidence has returned in full force. You can see it in his body language. Earlier in the season, Dak looked tight, forcing throws, second-guessing himself, and reacting instead of anticipating. But in these last few games, his footwork is crisp, his reads are fast, and his throws are decisive. He's stepping into the pocket with purpose, scanning the field, and finding open receivers with ease. CeeDee Lamb has become his go-to weapon again, dominating in the short and intermediate areas where he thrives. And with Brandin Cooks finally being used to stretch the field vertically, defenses can no longer just sit in zone coverage and wait. Dak's connection with Jake Ferguson has also become a key part of this resurgence. Ferguson has developed into a reliable target over the middle, giving Dak that safety valve he's needed since Jason Witten's retirement. But this transformation didn't happen by accident. Schottenheimer and the offensive staff clearly went back to the film room and made a conscious effort to simplify things for Dak while playing to his natural strengths. They've incorporated more rollouts, quick slants, and design movement in the pocket plays that allowed Dak to use his mobility without putting him in unnecessary danger. The running game, while still inconsistent at times, has started to complement the passing attack better. Tony Pollard is finally being used in space, catching screens and quick passes that get him going downhill. Rico Dowdle has also stepped up, giving Dallas some toughness between the tackles. Schottenheimer's genius lies in the balance he's brought back to this team. He's mixing modern concepts with old-school discipline, creating an offense that feels both dynamic and controlled. The pre-snap motion has returned, forcing defenses to reveal their coverage. The play-action game, once a staple of Dak's success, is back and more effective than ever. And perhaps the biggest change of all, Schottenheimer has reintroduced trust between the quarterback and his play caller. Dak is no longer just executing plays, he's owning the offense. He's making audibles, adjusting protections, and taking charge like a true leader should. It's easy to forget that Dak Prescott, when confident and well supported, is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in football. When he's in rhythm, he can pick apart any defense. The numbers prove it too. In recent games, Dak's completion percentage has skyrocketed, His passer rating has jumped, and the turnovers have nearly vanished. That's not luck. That's the product of smart coaching, effective communication, and a quarterback who's fully locked in. And when you combine that with a top-tier defense led by Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, you get a Dallas Cowboys team that suddenly looks like a legitimate Super Bowl contender again. One of the most striking differences in this revamped offense is the use of spacing. Schottenheimer has found ways to spread defenses horizontally, giving Dak clearer windows to throw through. Instead of forcing deep shots into tight coverage, Dallas is letting plays develop naturally, taking what the defense gives them, and then hitting the big plays when the opportunity presents itself. It's the kind of efficient, mature offense that keeps chains moving and defenders gasping for air. You can see how this approach is wearing teams down. The Cowboys are sustaining drives, controlling the clock, and keeping their defense fresh. And let's talk about how Dak's leadership has evolved in this stretch. You can see how much this resurgence means to him. The poise he shows on the sidelines, the calm communication with receivers, and the fire he brings in big moments. This is the Dak Prescott that fans fell in love with years ago. He's not trying to prove himself anymore, he's just playing his game. The trust between him and Schottenheimer is palpable. You can see Dak walking over to the sideline after a drive, discussing adjustments, and smiling because everything finally feels right again. It's also clear that Schottenheimer's influence is helping younger players flourish. Rookie Jalen Brooks and young receiver Jalen Tolbert have started to find their rhythm, making crucial catches in key situations. The offensive line, anchored by Zach Martin and Tyler Smith, is beginning to play with the kind of chemistry and aggression that defines championship-caliber units. When Dak has time to throw, the Cowboys' offense looks virtually unstoppable. And now, with Schottenheimer adjusting protections and mixing in quick passes, Dak is taking fewer hits and making more plays downfield. Critics who once said Dak couldn't carry this team are now being forced to eat their words. The turnaround has been so stark that analysts across the league are taking notice. What's most impressive is that this isn't just about stats, it's about how the Cowboys are winning. They're executing with purpose, playing with energy, and showcasing a level of creativity that was sorely missing early on. Schottenheimer's fingerprints are all over this, from the tempo shifts to the timing patterns and the deceptive motion packages that keep defenses guessing. You can feel that this offense is only scratching the surface of what it can become. With each game, the timing improves, the confidence grows, and the execution sharpens. Dak is reading defenses like a veteran chess player, anticipating blitzes, and hitting hot routes before the rush even gets close. The chemistry between Dak and Lamb, in particular, looks nearly telepathic. They're reading coverages together, adjusting routes mid-play, and consistently exploiting mismatches. When a quarterback and his receiver reach that kind of understanding, it's almost impossible to stop them. Even Tony Pollard's production, which dipped earlier in the season, is starting to rebound. Schottenheimer's decision to mix in more zone reads and outside runs has allowed Pollard to use his speed and vision more effectively. The Cowboys are also using more two-back sets and creative alignments to disguise their intentions. That kind of unpredictability has made life miserable for opposing defensive coordinators. And when you add in the red zone efficiency Dallas has displayed lately, you can see why this offense suddenly feels dangerous again. There's also something to be said about Schottenheimer's demeanor. He's not the flashy, headline-grabbing coordinator type. He's methodical, detail-oriented, and laser-focused on maximizing his players' strengths. The players respect that. Dak trusts him. The communication on the sideline looks smoother than ever, and that sense of stability is translating directly onto the field. When everyone's on the same page, when everyone understands their role, that's when an offense truly becomes unstoppable. Of course, the real test is consistency. The NFL is a week-to-week league, and maintaining this level of execution is the challenge ahead. But if the last few games are any indication, Schottenheimer, and Dak have found a formula that works. The Cowboys no longer look like a team searching for answers, they look like a team with a plan. And not just any plan, one that's designed to win in January, not just look good in October. This version of Dak Prescott looks poised, mature, and most importantly, free. He's not trying to silence critics or play hero ball. He's simply doing what great quarterbacks do, controlling the game with his mind and precision. The play-action fakes are crisp, the ball placement is elite, and the decision-making has been surgical. Defenses now have to respect every aspect of Dallas's offense, and that balance makes this team terrifying. As the Cowboys continue to climb the standings, fans can finally believe again. The offensive problems that once plagued this team seem to have vanished under Schottenheimer's guidance. Dak is playing the best football of his career, the receivers are clicking, and the offensive line is giving him the protection he needs. If this momentum continues, there's no telling how far this team can go. Brian Schottenheimer deserves immense credit for trusting his quarterback, simplifying the scheme, and reigniting the spark that makes this offense one of the most explosive in the league. Dak Prescott, in turn, has responded with the kind of leadership and precision that could define the Cowboys season. Together they've built something special, something that feels sustainable, powerful, and unstoppable. So, as we look ahead, one thing is crystal clear: the Dallas Cowboys offense is back, and it's better than ever. Dak Prescott has never looked more in command, and Brian Schottenheimer has proven that the right adjustments, at the right time, can completely change the trajectory of a season. The NFC should be on high alert, because when Dak plays like this, and when Schottenheimer is dialing up plays with this level of creativity and confidence, there are few defenses in football that can stand in their way. If you're a Cowboys fan, buckle up, because this might just be the beginning of something incredible. The offense has found its rhythm, Dak is unstoppable, and the dream of bringing that Lombardi trophy back to Dallas suddenly doesn't feel so far-fetched anymore. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how Brian Schottenheimer fixed the Cowboys offense and helped Dak Prescott reach a whole new level, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. There's a lot more to come, and trust me, you won't want to miss a second of it.